Home Secretary to make a statement on the Independent Office for Police Conduct report on police officers' conduct at Charing Cross.
The Independent Office for Police Conduct yesterday published the findings of an investigation into bullying and discrimination within Charing Cross Police Station between 2016 and 2018. The report makes for extremely disturbing reading. It describes abhorrent behaviour and misogynistic, racist and homophobic communications between officers that appear to have become commonplace. On a personal note, Mr. Speaker, as somebody who knows the Met well, I cannot begin to describe my horror at the revelations in the report. It is right that individuals who have been found to have committed gross misconduct have been dismissed and cannot rejoin policing. However, this is obviously about more than individuals. It's about how a toxic culture can develop and fester in parts of a police force, a culture that is allowed to go unchallenged until a brave officer blows the whistle or a message is discovered on an officer's phone. These events have a corrosive impact on public trust in policing and undermine the work of thousands of diligent and brave police officers who keep us safe every day. I am grateful for the work of the IOPC in investigating these allegations, and I expect the Metropolitan Police Service and the Mayor of London to implement the recommendations of this report as soon as practically possible. We are taking action to address these issues also. The Home Secretary has established the Angelini inquiry. This has now started, and Dame Eilish is examining the career of Sarah Everard's killer. While focused on that case, she will be considering whether the culture in the places where Sarah's murderer worked meant that alarm bells did not ring earlier. And of course, in the second part of her inquiry, we expect a light to be shone on wider policing, including on those cultural issues. In addition, at the Home Secretary's request, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire Rescue Services is currently inspecting forces across England and Wales to judge their vetting and counter-corruption capabilities. As part of this, we've specifically asked them to look at how forces are ensuring that misogyny and sexism are identified and dealt with in the workplace. We are also working closely with the National Police Chiefs Council to ensure professional standards on social media use for all police officers. Being a police officer is an honour, conferring a special status on those who serve. The findings of the IOPC's report are shaming for those who have abused that honour and for the Metropolitan Police. Standards must be raised. The precious bond of trust between the public and the police depends upon it.
Dr. Matthew Offord.
As a London MP, there are few opportunities to seek answers on the performance of the Metropolitan Police, so I'm grateful for you granting this urgent question, Mr. Speaker. The publication of the report by the Independent Office for Police Conduct joins the list of misdemeanours that have occurred in the Met in recent years. The IOPC opened its investigation in March 2018 following claims that an officer had sex with a drunk person at a police station. This in itself is a criminal offence and is even more shocking following the rape and murder of Sarah Everard by a serving police officer less than a year ago. The report says officers searched social media with the intention of having sex with people they had made contact with through being a victim of crime. This is an egregious breach of trust with the public and must be addressed immediately. Officers were found to have sent messages to a female on a shared group chat saying, "I would happily rape you, and if I was single, I would happily chloroform you." Other officers gleefully boasted about their behaviour by sending messages including, "You ever slap your missus? It makes them love you more. Seriously, since I did that, she won't leave me alone. Knock a bird about and she will love you. Human nature." It surely is not. The investigation uncovered evidence in relation to bullying, violence towards women, perverting the course of justice, discriminatory language and other inappropriate behaviours. The range and severity of these messages demonstrate they are not humorous comments, but evidence of a sinister and obnoxious culture that has pervaded the very organisation and individuals who are supposed to uphold the law. Worst of all, it tarnishes the reputation of all the decent, hard-working employees of the MPS. And where is the Mayor of London in all this? Recently, we heard his comments on the cost of living, accusations about the Prime Minister, Brexit, levelling up, drug decriminalisation, everything except on what he's responsible for, the policing of London. While more young people are murdered on the streets of London and police officers commit crimes, we need leadership on keeping London safe and that is not happening. So can I ask the Minister if he will firstly look at the Sexual Offences Act 2003 with a view to changing the law so that any person of any age who is in a position of trust with any other persons, regardless of their age, commits a criminal offence if they seek to involve the other person in sexual activity. Secondly, to expand and speed up Baroness Casey's review into the Metropolitan Police's culture and standards, to take into account behaviours outside the realm of the workplace, so that proper background checks are made on the appointment of MPS staff in all departments, including the MO7 task force. And finally, can I ask him to seek the establishment of a confidential complaint system in the MPS, so that whistleblowers, particularly women, can raise their concerns without being subjected to campaigns of threats, intimidation, coercion and abuse by others. Confidence in the MPS is incredibly low following a number of abuses. If the public decides they no longer have confidence in those who police them, then that really would be a crime.
Well, Mr. Speaker, can I share the honourable member's horror at the specific publication of some of those messages? They really are abhorrent. And as I understand it, the unit that's being investigated has since then been disbanded, and quite rightly so, with disciplinary action following. On his specific request on the offence, I'm certainly happy to look at that particular suggestion and explore it further as a possibility. In terms of the Casey review, he is quite right that Dame Louise Casey obviously has been appointed by the Metropolitan Police Commissioner to examine cultural issues within the force. That obviously started with the appalling killing of Sarah Everard and the consequences thereof, but I am sure that, knowing her as I do, that she will be looking closely at all these issues as they unfold, sadly, on an almost weekly basis in the newspapers. I have asked today for a meeting with Dame Louise so I can understand exactly where her inquiry is going and establish for myself that it will fit neatly with the work we are doing through the Inspectorate and indeed the Angelini inquiry into wider issues of culture in the Met and elsewhere in policing. And in terms of the establishment of whistleblowing systems, one of the specific requests we've asked of the Inspectorate as they look at all the police forces across the United Kingdom is to make sure that there are adequate whistleblowing facilities, if you like, or the processes there that will allow officers who want to call out bad behaviour to do so with confidence. But again, it's worth saying, Mr. Speaker, that while you can, Madam Deputy Speaker, my apologies, while you are, it is possible to put in place processes and practices and manuals and training, and we could do our best to train police officers to instil in them the right values. Never more important than now, as we're having such a huge influx of new young police officers waiting to be filled with the right kind of values. It still does point to a culture of leadership, where leadership makes it clear that this kind of behaviour is not to be tolerated, where leadership can project the confidence to officers to step forward and call out bad behaviour in this kind of communication. And whatever the processes you put in place, unless the wider leadership of UK policing is able to project that confidence, then I think we will fail in our mission.
Daly.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, Home Secretary. Approximately 90% of the rape allegations that are made to forces in England and Wales are not referred to the Crown Prosecution Service. So essentially the police discontinue those matters. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think on rape, there's been a lot of work that's taken place around rape review, which is just the whole rape review approach and strategy was pretty harrowing. There are a number of reasons. I think we should just be very honest about this. A number of reasons as to why cases effectively are not being pursued. Some are with policing in terms of forensics, digital downloads, all the things that I'm afraid familiar and territory and, you know, all the reasons that we know about. That said, though, you know, government isn't just sort of shrugging its shoulders and saying this isn't good enough and, you know, we're not going to do anything about this. From a policing perspective, first and foremost, we have new initiatives. We've got the pilot with Obsteteria, where clearly there's a lot of direct engagement with the police taking place in terms of actually providing more support, digital downloads, but importantly more support for the victims, giving victims confidence to come forward, protecting them throughout all the evidential processes. But, and I say this very strongly, But of course, this is about the end-to-end approach, effectively how policing gathers evidence, how cases are put together, how cases then go to the CPS, and then actually the support through that end-to-end system of the criminal justice system, and giving victims the confidence, giving them the confidence to actually go through every single stage of actually then following up with
prosecutions. I agree with that, Home Secretary, but I think I just want to come back to the point. 90% approximately of rape allegations are not going to the Crown Prosecution Service. The police themselves are taking no further action, not referring it on even for advice. That's 90% of the total potential victims of the most horrific offending are not even getting a chance to have
We're trying to change that.
The Crown Prosecution Service. So my question to you is, when you're speaking to the police, why do they tell you that's the case?
So, look, historically there are, I can't really speak about sort of the historical aspects of policing, and the rape review is absolutely trying to tackle this and change this. That's the point. That is the point. And that is about bringing all aspects of the criminal justice system together. It's pretty obvious that what has happened has not been good enough. It hasn't been good enough. You go force by force. I speak about Nottingham again. I saw incredible work in terms of what they do on evidential basis, collection, forensics. I actually saw how they handle rape cases when I was there on Friday. So you've asked the question,
it's about
why?
the leadership of the police, isn't it?
I'm not going to say that, no. There is inconsistency, force by force, in policing. There is no doubt about that. There is inconsistency. Historically, force by force, you will know this if I may say so with GMP, data collection, reporting of crime. GMP has had a terrible time on this in the past, and that's a failure of leadership. There's going to be no doubt about that in Greater Manchester. But force by force, it is not consistent. And specifically now, when you look at the work through the action plan from the end-to-end rape review, the scorecards, progress reports, the work that we are now doing, we want to change all of that. I mean, it is appalling. It is absolutely appalling. There should be no excuses. But, as someone, the Home Secretary here, working through these challenges with the Ministry of Justice as well, we've got to do better. We have to change policing attitudes. We have to give them more of the tools and the ability to actually push these cases onto investigation, and also support them through the training and resources that they need.
I think police leaders must be held accountable. But I'll use an example, Home Secretary, on a different offence, but a very serious offence that affects many, many people in our country. So the police failed to solve 1 million burglaries over 5 years up until 2021. 1 million burglaries. Now that is not only frightening, astonishing, appalling. Now, I'm not going to ask you what you feel about that, because I think I know what your answer is going to be. But we didn't need a strategy. We didn't need a discussion regarding how to address this problem, because if we go forward 12 months, and forgive me for looking at my phone here, but there have been, and I quote, this is from the Telegraph, dramatic fall in burglaries after police sent to scene of every break-in. Now, I don't think it would take 50 civil servants to sit in a room to come up with a strategy to say we should send police officers to burglaries. And the three forces which are mentioned here, and thankfully one of them is Greater Manchester. Greater Manchester, Bedfordshire and Northamptonshire, who pledged to send an officer to every burglary. We have seen in the last 12 months significant falls in burglaries. So my point is, we can have all the strategies in the world, we can call everything different, whatever it is. Yeah. But if people actually if people actually go and investigate offences correctly and properly, we have positive outcomes for victims.
I would agree with that. Look, I'm not going to dispute a word that you've said. I'd rather not be, we have the Beating Crime Plan for a start. The Beating Crime Plan, absolutely, and rightly so. That is a government strategy. That is a government strategy and plan to beat crime. And within that, of course, you'll understand, all colleagues here understand the structures in policing. Police and crime commissioners, Home Sec, the money coming from central government, how it's allocated across police forces. You're right, absolutely, Mr. Daly. It shouldn't take a strategy and a plan to tell the police officers to go directly to every single reported burglary, but through the beating crime planners, we are holding the police to account through these measures.
It's reported here that only 3 forces in this country are sending police officers to every...
We want every single force to do that, and that's the purpose of our work.
But my point is who is accountable in respect of that?
Sure.
Because somebody will have to explain to me why police and crime commissioners exist, because they don't seem to be accountable to anybody for anything.
Well, there is that,
Chief constables seem to be answerable to police and crime commissioners. And then you are up here.
Absolutely.
The last
I'm accountable for all of them, despite their operational independence and despite the money and the resources that we give them.
So I think policing is a lot less complicated than a lot of people would make out.
Sure.
Go out and arrest people. That tends to be the way to get things done. You don't need to talk about it. Go out and do it when members of the public phone up. Is that an outrageous comment for an MP?
No, it's absolutely right. Yeah. It is absolutely right. It really is. The police are actually accountable to the communities within which they serve. They're accountable to the public. Yeah. And wherever you go, and I would say this to all colleagues, speaking as a Member of Parliament myself and not just Home Secretary, you'll know when you hold policing meetings in your own constituency with members of the public, they are angry. They are angry when they're reporting, their tools being nicked from their van, and the fact that officers did not come out to actually look at the van and actually follow up on the crimes. The fact of life is that with the resources and the training and everything that's going into policing right now, record sums, you're right, we shouldn't really need a strategy, but we have a strategy as a government because we are adamant that we should be cutting crime, reducing crime, and aspects of crime, are going down. Not all aspects, I should add, but even so, it is a statement of the obvious, in my view, for forces to just get out there and follow up on every single crime. And guess what happens when you do? With the resources you get the type of results that the 3 forces that you've spoken about have.
And the last number of questions is on one subject that I talk about a lot, because I think it is fundamental, is the problem as I see it, having been involved in the criminal justice system for a long time, is not the court system, it's getting the cases into court and how they're investigated prior to charge. I could spend hours with you, Home Secretary, discussing the charging standard, but we'll leave that discussion for another day.
I've spent hours on it too.
Tell me what you think of release under investigation as a concept.
So, well, I mean, how long we got? Release under investigation obviously covers a lot of grounds and has been with a lot of controversy as well. Has been with a lot of controversy. With that though, release under investigation also means that we do have to do a lot of work to protect victims. Who clearly are, the level of vulnerability around victims, particularly through certain cases under release under investigation.
Including rape?
Well, actually, I think rape is the most prevalent one, actually, if we speak about it. Is very hard and very, very difficult. It really is. Release under investigation should not be used, in my view, lightly, or generally, because obviously in the way in which police officers are not acting in fast time, real time to gather important evidence that could then actually not just safeguard the victims but lead to faster evidential prosecution and getting cases into the criminal justice system.
Unless release under investigation is changed, we're going to continue to have problems. Can I ask either Mr Rycroft or Ms Hayes, can you give the committee an idea of the numbers of people who are currently released under investigation in this country?
I haven't got that in front of me, but we can write to the committee chair with that advice. I would add to what the Home Secretary was saying, that the sense that we need across government to be thinking about the whole of the system. As the Home Secretary says, this is not just about policing, this is about joining up with prosecution, with the courts, and then with the prison system. We need to think about it system-wide and make sure that we are progressing the timeliness on every single stage.
Mr Rycroft, you must, as the Permanent Secretary, have an idea. I'll rephrase the question. What's the average time a alleged perpetrator is, if they are released on bail, is on released under bail? How long are they waiting for something to happen on average?
I'll have to write to you with that information, and I'm very happy to do so. Obviously, it will depend on the different crime types. It will probably also depend on different parts of the country, but we will, to expand on the point the Home Secretary was making earlier, we are using the power of transparency, shining the spotlight on individual police forces and policing in general in an accountability framework that reports to the Home Secretary in order to improve the performance of individual forces. That's precisely what we do through the scorecards and so on.
Last 2 final questions, and I apologise for being grumpy. I'm astounded that you don't know the figure. Absolutely astounded. It is fundamental that I can tell you now that there are people for the most basic offences, the most basic. If you walk down Bury High Street and somebody punches you in the face, and there are witnesses to that, you are likely to be released under investigation, not charged. And you are likely to be lost within the system for months and months and months. And it is frightening when you consider that this is not just, should we say, what could be considered low-level offending. This is serious offending. Yes. And so it gets back to the point they've been asking questions about. The Home Secretary is here to talk about the strategy, but there has to be accountability from your department as to how you hold police officers to account. And I've given the example. You can come up with all the strategies in the world, but unless that police officer on the street is actually going out and arresting people and doing it in a timely and efficient manner, it doesn't matter what your policy is. And I want to know how your department is ensuring that police, chief constables, police and crime commissioners, whoever it is doing what you want them to do. Because nobody, unless you're going to tell me something different, nobody wants people, the figures that we have for rape, the figures that we have for burglary.
I totally agree with you on the point about accountability and about how the system needs to work together, and that is precisely what we do. In addition to the Criminal Justice Task Force and the other governance structures that we have that look across the whole system, as I was saying earlier, we also have the National Policing Performance Board, which the Policing Minister chairs, which is the body to hold the police, force by force, to account on their overall performance.
It's not working, though, is it? So...
Well, we are using that mechanism in order to drive improvements precisely in the areas that you and other committee members are describing.
I think this is a conversation about process, right? Bureaucracy and structures in government. And at the end of the day, public want to know that officers are actually investigating crime, that criminals are being treated in a very, very serious way. And they want outcomes. They absolutely want outcomes. And I think, we've got tons of process. It's kind of like we're from the government and we're quite good at process and we just wrap ourselves up in process. There is something here, though, and your line of questioning is really quite important because actually this comes back to one fundamental aspect about public confidence in policing. The public, we want the public obviously to be confident about policing. We want them to have trust in policing. Look at the conversations that we've had this morning already. We've covered vetting, covered IOPC, all the stuff that actually undermines public confidence. Delivery, absolutely, in terms of accountability, clearly has to be with the local public. But to your point as well, Ms Daly, chief constables and police and crime commissioners, absolutely are the ones that should be, PCCs in particular, holding the chief and also officers to account on all these core crime types. The Beating Crime Plan, I'm coming back to that very deliberately. We set the framework, we set the targets. We've set targets. We have set targets on crime reduction, serious crimes, because any harm is outrageous. It is absolutely outrageous. But with that, of course, we, through strategic policing board and everything else, we do hold them to account. So I don't want committee to be left under the impression that we're not chasing them and absolutely holding them to account.
My final point is the police are not the social services. They are there to investigate offending. They're not there as a bureaucratic organisation to fill out endless paperwork.
Yes.
There needs to be a reaffirmation to the leadership of the police that the public wants the police to go out and arrest people and put them before the courts. That is it. That's what undermines confidence, not whether all the other things we're talking about. And I know that you understand that, and I will hand over at that point.
Can I just ask one question? On the rate review, which you referred to, can you just tell the committee which minister is responsible for driving the rate review through? Where does the book start?
So in the Home Office, it's our safeguarding minister.
So you're junior minister?
But no. So we don't just have one minister, because obviously we have the policing minister cuts across both departments. He's also an MOJ minister. So the safeguarding minister and Kit Malthouse, our policing minister, they work together on the rate review and delivery of the metrics, because obviously the rate review is just not, we don't look at it just from a Home Office perspective. It does cut across both AGO and also the MOJ, and very deliberately, if you see the action plan with the rate review, the scorecards, the policing side.
We understand that. We just want to know who is ultimately responsible for making sure that the rate review and your plan to get back to the 2016 levels.
Yeah, so that
who is responsible for that?
It sits with Kit. It sits with
Kit
policing.
Malthouse is
he
responsible.
Cuts across both departments.
Okay. Thank you.
That's why you're taking pictures of a police station. Hello.
Firstly, can I ask you to identify yourself?
Yeah, PC Randall, based out of this building.
Okay.
why you're taking
Is there
pictures of
anything
this
else
police
you should let
station?
me know?
Can I ask
Is
why
there
you're
anything
taking
else you
pictures
should
of
let me
this
know?
police station and photographing
Is there-
vehicles
is
going
it-
in and
is-
out?
Well, what about your camera? You're supposed to let me know that you've put that on?
I have put it on. You can see. You watched me do it because you were filming me.
So
you were
was
filming
you-
this police
was you-
station.
was you verbally
Can I
supposed-
ask you why you're
Oh, you-
taking pictures and filming this police station?
You can ask me, yeah.
Right. Do you want to tell me then?
Well, do I have to tell you?
Yes.
Under what law?
I can detain you under the Terrorism Act if you want me to.
So you're going to use section 43 to detain me, yeah? By coming out and saying that first straight off.
Well, I don't know who you are, sir. I don't
Doesn't
know
matter
what
if you
your
don't know
intentions
who
are.
I am. I'm on
Why
a public
are you filming
footpath.
this building? Why are you
I'm on
filming
a
vehicles
public
coming in and out
footpath.
there?
I'm on a public
A
footpath.
terrorism threat is at one of the highest levels.
I'm on a public footpath.
Are you?
Yes, I am. Look, are you? And here I am. And that means
You haven't answered my question.
that
yet,
means I
have you?
can legally
You still
film.
haven't answered
That
my
means I
question.
can legally film, yeah, anywhere.
So what's the purpose of you filming?
So
Then?
why are you mentioning Terrorism Act? Is that all you've done? You come straight from out there and you're telling me about TerrorismCt? Huh?
what's your purpose for filming?
You don't want to
What's your
acknowledge.
purpose for
You don't
filming?
want to acknowledge that you're filming me. Yeah.
I've told you I'm filming. I'm not hiding the
No,
fact.
you didn't tell me. I had to ask. Okay,
watched
it's on
me put
camera.
my camera
Doesn't
on.
matter. You're supposed to verbally tell me. This is why I'm
I've never been
filming. Do
asked
you know
that
why I'm
before in my life.
filming? Say that again.
I've never been asked that before in my
What?
life.
You've never been asked what before?
Why am I filming? Because I'm doing
Well,
it for evidence. What
That's-
are you filming for?
That's because you don't tell them. That's why, and they probably don't know that you're supposed to tell them, but I do.
So are you going to explain to me why you're
Well,
filming?
I'm doing it as a public interest.
So what's your public interest?
I'm trying to find out if Charing Cross police
Yes.
abuse their powers
What, by driving in and out?
by driving in and out.
So you were filming my colleagues driving in and driving into the building?
I can.
You're filming the police station?
I can,
Right.
but I can.
And you don't want to explain to me why you think
That's the
unusual?
reason why. Public interest. I'm perfectly told you. I'm standing here. There's distance between us. There's no hostility. I'm telling you exactly what you would like to know. And tell me I can't film in public.
I didn't say you couldn't film in
Well
public. I
then,
think
so
it's quite
therefore,
unusual someone
doesn't matter
filming
if it's
a
quite
police station.
unusual. It's quite
I think
unusual
someone-
for a
it's
lot
quite
of
unusual
things.
someone filming police
No, it's
vehicles
not.
going in
No,
and out
it's
of the
not.
building.
No, it's not. There's lots of.
It is quite
There's lots
unusual.
of videos.
It is quite unusual.
Oh, in your opinion, not in my opinion. There's lots of videos going around, right, of people filming police who are legally able to film police. Yeah, there's no law against it. Have you
There's a law
seen?
against it, sir. I was
have you
asking you why
seen
you're
or
filming
have you read
vehicles coming in and out of
the
a police station and a police station.
NPCC memo?
I don't need to
Have
read
you, have
anything,
you,
sir.
have,
I'm
have you
questioning
read
you
it?
about
Well,
why
actually,
you're
you do
filming.
need to read it. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it says filming in public is not a crime.
I didn't say
and you
you-
should
listen,
let me be
I'm
able to
asking
film
you
in
why
public.
you're filming the
Shall I
police
show
station
you?
and why you're
Shall,
filming
shall I
vehicles
show
coming
you
in
the
and out.
information?
You're not answering me
I've
any
got
of my
the information
questions,
in
are
my
you?
bag.
You're not satisfying any reasons
Okay,
why
let
you're
me
filming
satisfy.
and
Let
filming
me
vehicles
satisfy you.
coming
I'm
in and
going
out
to.
of
I'm
there.
going to look in my bag and I'm going to give you some paperwork, which will explain to you why I'm filming. But
Okay,
I don't
I've got
have
5 other
to.
officers out here. Let's see what they think about you filming
Okay,
vehicles.
are you all willing to identify yourselves? Is everybody willing to identify themselves?
I know.
You're identifying
Hello, mate,
yourself?
you right?
Say that again.
How are you? You
Are
well?
you going to identify yourself?
Yes, I'm what you said, mate. Yeah. PCL, yes.
Can you identify yourself verbally?
Yeah, I just said PCL, yes.
Yeah, your number, please.
Yeah, 315 2 Tango.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, of course. It's PC Hernandez, 3254 Tango.
Thank you. Can you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, PC Coast Linen.
Can I get your number?
Yeah, it's 3329.
Thank you. Cheers. That's how you do it. You get identified.
I've
No.
not identified myself to you. I was asking you why you're filming.
And I told you why.
vehicles
Public
coming in and out
interest.
of the building,
The
and
reason
you're
why I'm filming
the
you
building
guys,
yourself.
because I'm filming to see if you guys are going to abuse your powers. Yeah, that's why I'm filming.
Yeah, sure.
Huh?
Why would you antagonise people to do that?
Who's antagonising anybody?
You just said that.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Some-
See if I was going to abuse my powers.
Yeah, that's,
You're
well,
provoking-
where's the word antagonising come from?
Me, because you are purposely provoking officers.
Where's that happening?
To use powers.
No, I'm not. I'm legally able to stand on a public footpath. So how can I be provocative if I'm
That's what you
legally...
just said.
I didn't say
You
that.
wanted to see if we're going to abuse our powers.
No, that's
You
why.
just said
Okay,
that.
so
if
the
you
reason
rewind your phone.
Said that, sir.
I'm
You literally said that. Now you forget
I am
what you said.
filming to see if
Yeah.
any police officer abuses their power.
Okay.
Right. So because it happens, and the reason why I can film, the reason why I can film is because I'm filming in public, and therefore I'm not antagonising anybody. I'm doing something which is legal. Yeah. So there's no antagonistic going on. So don't tell me that I'm antagonising anybody. Okay. So I'm sure this is the back gate where all the police cars and that come out. So yeah. Good morning. You all right, mate?
You having a good day?
Yeah. So far, you all right? Are you having a good day as well?
Yeah, not too bad, man.
Good.
Bad.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Can I ask you to identify yourself, please?
Yeah, it's on my shoulder, Charlie 858.
All right. Thank you very much. Can I ask you to?
652.
Thank you very much.
What are you up to, mate, today?
Yeah, just doing a video, public interest.
What kind of public interest?
Now, if you really want to know.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so I'm here to try to find out whether police are abusing their powers.
What kind of powers?
Oh, any powers that they want to try to abuse. So
hopefully you won't find any of that today.
Yeah, well, that's the public interest that I'm here doing.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Let me just go back to this so I can let this lady come across the paper.
Okay.
Dive out and have a chat instead.
Yeah. So this police officer wants to know. Gonna have a chat. You turn the engine off, officer.
Sorry?
And you're going to turn the engine off?
We'll be going in 2 seconds.
Okay.
I was just continuing my chat, so I wasn't rude and driving off.
All right then. Why are you detaining me?
No.
Oh, okay then. So
No.
what's the continuation of the chat for?
Just a chat, mate.
Yeah.
You can walk away if you like. I'm not here to detain you or force you to have a talk with me. It's just I didn't want to be rude and drive off.
That's fair enough. It's all right. You don't need to be rude. Get on with your duty. Yeah.
You enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for that.
Bye.
Very professional.
Cheers.
Cold.
Are you cold?
Yeah, I'm
Would you like to tell this officer that I'm not doing anything illegal and I'm able to film? No, but can you tell him that though?
filming.
Because he keeps on asking me the same question.
Yeah,
But I've told
and
him.
you still haven't answered me.
I have told you. No. Do you know what he said is?
You got the lemon tree pub there. Do you want to film like staff members coming in?
Listen, I'm not being funny, but I'm legally able to film. I'm filming in public.
Listen.
There's a memo that's going around, but from the Met Police that says members of the public can film on public places without any hassle.
I didn't say you
okay?
couldn't film. I was
So
asking
therefore,
you why
yeah, but
you're
that's the
filming
reason why.
vehicles coming in and out of the
Listen,
building,
this
and
will
why you're
show
filming
you
specifically
that
a
I'm
police
telling
station.
you time because
I
I
wouldn't
can.
be doing my job properly if I didn't come out
I
and
didn't
challenge
say
you.
that you shouldn't
If I
challenge
just
me,
left you to
but
it,
I'm telling you,
I don't know
and you're
what
not
doing,
listening
what
to
your
what I'm
purpose is.
saying.
I've no idea what your intentions are.
Because he's not listening to what I'm saying. Oh, I've heard him what he said. I've heard what he said. I've heard what he said. Oh yeah, I've been talking to him for 10 minutes already. I don't need to repeat him. I don't need to repeat.
Why?
Because I don't. I did. I said it earlier on. He said the same thing earlier on. That's why I'm still here filming.
Why though?
Because I can. But I'm not doing nothing illegal, am I?
No, we're not saying that.
Well
but what
then,
are you doing out of it?
so why you keep on asking me the same thing?
I'm not asking you the same
You
thing.
are. You're asking the same question again and again, and I've given you the answer, right? No, but I've answered him, and he's asking me again. So what do you want me to do? Keep on saying the same thing again until you get what you want to hear?
Anyway, Lemon Tree, you can film people out there too. They got staff people. The front's there.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
Have a nice day, sir. Expect to get challenged again.
Okay, but then do it in a proper way. Don't come out and start talking about terrorism. No, you came out and you started talking about terrorism. There's no need for that. There's no need for that because I'm here legally, yeah, because I can be on this public path. Although you might not think it's normal. No, but we're having a conversation now. All right then. So am I being detained? Am I being detained? If not, then I'll step away.
Are you going to go and film other vehicles, or you just choose to film the police? I think it's quite unusual.
There you go. Walk of shame. Walk of shame. Walk of shame. When you drive off, I'll go. When you drive off, I'll go. Oh, it's alright, don't worry. Wow. So this is Charing Cross, still trying to abuse their powers. You know, when something is legal, why are they trying to make it an unlawful act? It doesn't matter if it looks different to them, yeah? It doesn't matter. They shouldn't be trying to tell me what I can and can't do as long as it's legal. Pick this up in a second. Charing Cross Police Station revisited. Well, let's see how they're doing with my complaint. Can I ask who your line manager is, please? Can I ask who your line manager is, please? Are you not going to tell me who your line manager is? Are you following your procedures? Are you prepared to identify yourself now, or are you still not going to identify you? Can I have your number? No? Because that's all you're doing is just abusing your powers again. I'm waiting for this officer to give me an update. Can I have an update, please?
I asked her to give you one, so can you now please step away from the counter so I can deal with the people standing?
Yeah, okay. You can ask her, yeah? Okay. And then she goes and pours herself a cup of tea. That's how bad the situation is. Say again? Yeah. I'm just taking your number. AW254. Say again? Yeah, I want a complaint. Can I ask why it's taken 4 hours for somebody to come down to me? Say that again? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you open this a little bit? Yeah, sorry.
Right. I've got 2 radio channels to monitor up there.
Yeah.
I don't often have time to come away from them to deal with the complaint in the front office. We normally deal with it over the phone when we get 5 minutes to do that. Can I take some information from you?
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to answer that, yeah? Now, the thing, I said I'm going to answer that. The thing about it is, I've been here since like about maybe 1:30. I've been here till 1:30. I've asked for an update, yeah, and nobody's given me an update to let me know what you've just said, first and foremost. Secondly, I've asked every single one of those police staff in there for their supervisors, the line manager. Nobody's identified themselves. Nobody's identified themselves. I'm not happy with the whole situation whatsoever. And if you feel that I'm speaking too quickly for you, I am upset that I've been here for 4 hours and one of your police officers possibly just went upstairs and asked for you to come down, which I appreciate that he's done that. Yeah. But I don't appreciate that I've been here for 4 hours and every single one of those people out there, every single one of those police staff out there have ignored me. I've got it all on tape. Not one of them have even spoken to me. I've got about 2 hours on tape of them ignoring me.
You're not helping me.
Wow.
I need to take the information from you and then I can progress it for you.
Yeah, but you're not listening. You should be apologising for their behaviours.
I don't know what they've done, sir.
Well, I've just told you what they've done. I've just told you what they've done. I want to know who their supervisors are as well.
I don't know who the supervisors
Well, I want you to find out, Sergeant.
What is your initial complaint about?
It's about Police Constable,
Yeah.
Constable Carlin, Carlin.
Yeah.
2.
I can find him on the name. Right.
2017 or something like that. On the 24th of November, yeah, I was down there. I'm a vlogger, yeah, and I was auditing your station. Yeah, I was with 2 other guys, and I was walking up to this police officer Carlin, and he asked me in a very derogatory way, if that's the word of how you say it, "How's your mum?" Yeah, I didn't approach him in a manner for him to ask me that. My mum's passed away, so
I found that very offensive. Yeah, very offensive. He just swaddled off. Yeah, tried to make light of it. All the officers that surrounded him. It's a YouTube. It's uploaded. It's called. Yeah, you can put that down if you like. That's the name of the YouTube link. Yeah, but that's the name of the link. That's what's got to. Well, you'll be able to see his behaviour. Right. Yeah, and I want to make a complaint about it.
Can you spell that for me?
Vile and disgusting. VILE.
All one word?
No, and disgusting. Yeah. If you look under that sort of mantra.
On YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, Charing Cross Police Station. Yeah. There's a couple, because I came to complain on that particular day, on the 24th of November.
Yeah.
And again, that lady, the white lady in there, said that I couldn't do it. I had to do it on 101, which I don't have to do it on 101, because I phoned up the IOPC. Yeah. I came back to make a complaint. Yeah, and then there was another guy, I don't know who he is, he might have identified him, I don't know. But anyway, a sergeant did come down to speak to me, but he didn't have no rooms. Again, I was here for like 2.5 hours, he didn't have no rooms available at that time. And this is the third time that I've come back. Right. Yeah, because I wanted to do it here at the station, simply because when Carlin done that on the first occasion, I wanted it to be reported there and then. Right, and I'm extremely annoyed and upset that you guys, as the police, yeah, not you personally, obviously, have taken a month for me to be able to sit down here now and give you this little bit of information. No. Disgusted. Yeah. Can I take your full name? No, you can't take my full name. I'll give you my email address. The IOPC said that I can make a complaint via my email address.
Okay, but I need your details.
That is my details. They said you can make a complaint via my email address.
The reason I ask is I will send, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in a form called a 3352, which escalates this complaint to our professional standards unit.
Yeah.
They will not accept it without a name and an address.
The IOPC said, and I've got it audio, yeah, phone call, that I can do it with an email address. Right. So I just wanted to make sure that I could complain at the station. So when I go back, I'd want the complaint to be made, and also just so there's no to-ing and fro-ing about where I have to make this complaint and who and how they have to take it. You know.
Yeah, so we don't take complaints initially. IOPC do. So it would need to be through to the police force concerned.
Okay, that's fair enough. But do you know how they're supposed to process the complaint? Obviously, if they take it, then what are they supposed to do? What do I have to do? Do I have to give my name and address and all that, or can I just give an email?
Just any contact that you want to give. That can just be an email. It's just if you want to raise a complaint anonymously, you can do so. However, if you don't give any details about yourself, then it will obviously stop that contact from them if they need any more information from you.
Okay, so they don't specifically need my name and address, but if I want to give an email for a contact for them to get back to me to provide information or move it further, then that's something which they all they need. They just need an email address.
Yeah, if you want to do it that way, then yeah, that will be fine.
And that is definitely the way to do it, just with an email.
You can raise it that way, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But they send out an information pack by the post.
The IOPC said that I could make a complaint with my email address.
Okay. What I'll do, I will try that for you. Okay.
So why would they tell me one thing and you're going to try it?
I'm going to try it, and if they tell me that I can't do it, then we'll have to email you and let you know that they can't do it. It's a professional standards unit. I'm not from that unit. I am in the operations room. I'm in the control room upstairs, which is why I haven't really got a lot of time to deal with. So I've got 2 radio channels upstairs to monitor. I have to come down there to deal with you. So that's why I'm trying. That's why it might seem like I'm trying to hurry you through this. But I'm going to fill in the form for you with information that I've got, and the contested stop on the 24th. Yeah.
It was what?
The contested stop. So you were stopped outside the back of the police station. Is that right?
Well, I wasn't stopped. I was lawfully filming.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him, and as I was walking up to him, he turned to me, looked at me and said, "You all right? How's your mum?"
Right.
And I thought to myself, what are you saying? And I said to him that I felt offended. I said to him that it's vile, disgusting, yeah. And I asked him for his shoulder epaulets, yeah, number. I'm not sure even if he gave it to me verbally, yeah. I then said that I was going to make a complaint, and he said, "Go on then, round the front desk." Yeah, his attitude was atrocious.
So you're complaining about his attitude to you?
Of course.
Is that right?
His attitude, his behaviour, his arrogance. How can you address a member of the public like that? And I'm not being funny. I didn't approach him to say anything. He turned to me and he said that to me without me even saying anything to him, you know.
And you want to complain that the station officer didn't give you their supervisor's details, is that right?
All of these, every single person that's on duty now, I want their numbers. I want her number, the lady behind you. I want her number. The Asian lady has given me her number already, and I want the two guys on the front's numbers as well.
Okay, these ones here, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get them now.
And I want to make a complaint about them. I want to know why. Say again?
I'm doing that for you.
No, that's what I'm saying. I want to know why I was sitting there for 4 hours and nobody didn't come back to me.
Because you don't have the time to do
No,
it.
nobody. Excuse me. When you see my video, you'll you'll realise that they didn't acknowledge. When I say they didn't even speak to me, I said to them, "Can you get me a supervisor?"
No, I understand that.
Can you do it? They didn't acknowledge me. It's like they looked through me.
We are extremely busy.
Say again?
We are extremely busy. You have to appreciate I don't have a lot of time to come down.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them.
Yeah.
The way that they carried on is extremely unprofessional.
We'll put that on the complaint form for you.
Okay, but I want their numbers. I personally want their
Send
numbers.
and put it on the form for you.
Okay, no, I want their numbers.
You don't need them.
Yeah, I do need it.
If you want them, you can ask them.
I am asking them and they're not telling me. This is what I'm saying to you, Sergeant. I just said to you that they wouldn't acknowledge me. If you walk away from here without you giving me their numbers, which they need to identify themselves with, yeah, I'll put in a complaint.
You can see their numbers.
I can't see their numbers. There's police staff. See, this is why I film, because it seems like I'm trying to make this up, but I'm asking them for their numbers and they're ignoring me, not talking. And I've just said to you that I want their numbers, and you're saying, "I'd like you to ask that lady her number, please." And
okay.
Can I have your warrant number or your number?
No, probably not. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe I can actually.
There you go.
Okay, so why is it that I have a number? What's a warrant number? So what's a PAO?
Public Access Officer.
And is that what she is?
Are you a PAO? Yeah.
Okay, so why have I got Public Access Officer Patel's number?
That's not a shoulder number.
Okay, well that's the numbers that I want from her.
Right, okay. Why do you want that number?
Because it identifies her.
I'm going to identify her.
No, I want to be able to identify her in case I have to make my own complaint somewhere else.
I'm going to raise your complaint.
Am I able to have their number? No, I'm asking you, am I able to have their number? Am I able to have their number?
I don't know actually.
Well, I've got her number, right? And actually, I'll give you a bit of advice. They're supposed to be able to identify themselves. That's like me speaking to you and you not telling me who you are. How am I supposed to come back at a late... No, I said it's like me speaking to you and you not telling me who you are. I would like their numbers, please. I would like their numbers, please. If you're telling me that you're not going to get their numbers, then I'm going to put you on that complaint. I don't need to. I'm making a complaint.
I'm trying to help you.
What? Yeah, but you're not. You're telling me stuff that I don't need to do. I'll give you my email, and that's how I can make.
I told you I'm going to do that.
Right, but I want their numbers.
I'm going to put the information on the complaint form, and it'll go to our professional standards.
No, that's not what I want. I want their numbers. I've been asking for their numbers, and they've refused to give. That's like them refusing to identify themselves like a police officer. If I asked you, If I asked you for your number, your shoulder number, and you're on duty,
Staff, they're not police officers.
they're police staff, but they've still got numbers. They've still got identification numbers.
And I'm going to identify.
Well, I want. Do you know something? This is why I film. I keep on telling you, because what you're telling me is that you're not prepared to identify them to me now.
I don't need to.
I want them. So that.
So you can complain.
I want their numbers. You don't need to ask me any more questions. I'm asking you for their numbers. So, hold on, stop then. Could you put yourself on that complaint form, please? And say that and just say that you won't identify. Hold on. Why? Because you're not prepared to put yourself on that complaint form.
I can't complain about myself.
I want their numbers.
I'm going to fill out.
Why wouldn't you? Why ain't you going to give me their numbers? No, why aren't you going to give me police staff's numbers? Why aren't you going to give it to me?
They're police staff.
And
I'm going to put their information on the complaint.
so, supposing you go upstairs and you look up whether or not police staff are supposed to give me their numbers, what are you going to do? Are you going to come back down, identify them, and send me their numbers via email?
No, I'm not. I'm going to put their information.
Why aren't you going to do that? So that means you're not upholding your oath. So that means this complaint is pointless.
Right. I'm going to escalate this professional standards for you.
I want them to be complained about.
I'm going to.
I want their numbers. Just like I've got this lady's number, just like I've got the police officer's number, I've asked them for their numbers to identify themselves, and I would like you to identify them to me, please.
So I'm going to escalate this.
Please.
For you.
I'm asking you again, PS. What does PS Jordan mean?
That's my name.
Look, what's the PS?
Police sergeant.
Okay, fair enough. I obviously didn't know that. I've been here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
The misconduct in this station is atrocious, and you are complicit to this misconduct because you're not going to identify these police staff. You're protecting them, yeah?
They are going to be on complaint.
No, you're protecting them. I'm asking for their number. I'm asking them to identify themselves. Ask her if she should.
There you go.
What's that?
So this officer said that she wasn't happy to speak to you while you were filming.
Doesn't matter. I can film.
Sir,
Yeah, but I can film.
Sir.
No, but I can film. It doesn't matter whether she's happy or not. What? So again, you're breaking your code. See, you're saying that you're not happy. Wow. And that's a police sergeant. Are you happy? What do you mean, are you happy? You're asking me if they're happy to do that. I don't get... No, I don't get you. Okay, can I have them then, please? I haven't got a pen here. Could you please write it down for me, please? Thank you.
Oh, you've got that one.
And whose is this number? Whose is this number?
That's staff numbers.
No, but I don't know who it is.
Exactly.
Anyway, do you know something? You're on camera as well. You're being complicit to this whole thing. Yeah? You can't ask them if they're happy to when they should be doing this.
We are not obliged to give our names.
I'm not asking for their name. There's an identification marker for them, yeah? And you're not prepared to give them to me because you're asking them if they're happy. They shouldn't need to be happy. They should just give it to them because that is what identifies them. Sergeant, this is what I'm trying to say to you.
I have to go, so I've got 2 radios.
Oh, so you're prepared to not identify these.
I told you already they're going to be on the complaint form.
And how am I supposed to know who is who?
We're not obliged to give you names. We can give
Listen, if I want to complain about them separately, yeah, how am I supposed to know who is who? I don't want a name, but I want to know what her number is.
I've got that. on here.
Okay, and I need to know what them two guys' numbers are. No, I need to know. They've refused me, right? And I need to know what their numbers are.
Who do you speak to here?
Say that again?
How many have you spoken to?
The two men, that guy over there, and then there's another guy, light-skinned guy that was here, lighter skin guy that was there. You can't turn around and say, ask them if they're happy to, Sergeant. I'm not being funny, but they have to identify themselves.
I have to go. So
I want his number.
I've told you.
I want his number over there.
Get his number. I have to go, and I will raise a complaint for you.
I am so furious. I've been there 4 hours because of that guy, Carlin, yeah. Literally, it sounded like abuse when he said it to me, yeah. And I'm really, really upset that I came to this station and there's been so much obstruction for me to make a complaint about a police officer, yeah. Because everybody is there saying, we can't do. Okay, you're saying that you're going to do that for me, which is fair enough, yeah? But I'm just letting you know that I've been here today, right? And every single one of these police staff that's been there has obstructed me in getting to this stage now.
No, they
right?
put a CAD on asking for us to come down, but we've been very busy.
Okay, they put a CAD on.
Yeah.
Okay. And they didn't come back to let me know. They didn't say anything to me. They've not even spoken.
Okay, well, apologise for that. But
thank you.
We just haven't
that doesn't hard.
We normally phone up informants when they complain because we've got 2 radio channels to listen to, and we can't keep an ear out on our radio channels for anything that's going on if we're down here dealing with people that are complaining. So we normally phone them up. Do you see what I mean?
I do see what you mean, but just let me just say, if the IOPC is telling me that I can do a front counter complaint,
you can.
Well then, so this is what I wanted to do.
But we don't have enough supervisors.
No, but you're telling me that I can, so this is why I'm here. And this should have been done on the 24th. This is when it goes back to. It goes back to the 24th when that lady said to me that I can only do it on 101. This is why I'm so upset. 4 hours I've been here. Say it again, sorry.
I'll put that on the complaint form for you.
Okay.
All right.
And I want a copy of your complaint.
I don't know. What will happen is I fill in the form.
Right.
It gets submitted to the professional standards unit.
Right.
And then they get in touch with you.
They'll get in touch with me.
I just triage complaints.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I take the information, and then I can do a couple of things. I can do a service recovery, which is speak to the complainant and see if I can sort it out for them there and then by explaining. So it could be a complaint about something, and it just might be as simple as explaining procedures, and then they're happy. If not, then I can escalate it to professional standards. Which is what I'm going to do for you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And professional standards unit will be in touch.
And the CAD number is what is this here? That's the CAD number.
Yes.
Okay. So everything will go through this CAD, this reference.
Yeah. So what we'll do is, what I normally say is, if you haven't heard anything from professional standards within 2 weeks, give 101 a call with that CAD number, and we'll chase them up for you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not happy. No.
Happier.
I'm not happy. I want his number first before I go.
For you now.
Yeah, that guy there. There's another one that's sitting here. I don't know his number, but he needs to be on that complaint as well.
Right.
All 4 of them. Terrible service. Seriously.
Right.
They're not above the law. They're not above the law. Yeah, they should adhere to what they signed up to. And I hear that they might have been a bit intimidated because I had a camera, but because it's legal and lawful. Yeah, because it's legal and lawful, they shouldn't treat me any differently, and I felt today that they treated me differently because I had the camera. But I had the camera because when your constable was saying those things to me, I called it on camera. So just like now, if they say anything to me, I can say it on camera because that lady there, yeah, said that she was going to tell this one to come and give me an update.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They are entitled, if they don't want to give information over on film that might be in public domain.
It's mine. It's mine. I'm filming.
But you've told me that you've got a YouTube channel.
But it's my information. It's my information. If I'm asking for somebody else's information, fair enough. If I'm asking for my information, I can film as much as I want.
I will raise a complaint for you, and they'll be in touch. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sergeant. You can't be saying stuff which doesn't make sense. I mean, they're there for a service. Yeah. The service is if I say to come up to you and say hello, and you don't say hello back to me, and I'm filming you, it doesn't mean to say that you're not saying it because I'm filming you. You should be, and don't worry about the camera because it's lawful, it's legal. If it was illegal, you'd come and say, oh, you can't do that.
What we're worried about is our own security at the end of the day.
Yeah, but you can film police staff in their job. I can understand that, but you can still do it.
Be a bit worried about our personal security.
But you can still do that. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm worried, yeah, about police giving misinformation, yeah, and then them trying to say, oh, well, you said this and you said that. No, I didn't. It's on camera. This is why I film.
I will raise that for you, all right?
Okay. Thank you very much. And
take care. Does that open automatically?
It's night time, but do you know something? I made my complaint.